Cue the confetti. Today is the day all about celebrating. It is our 100th podcast episode. Yes, you heard me right, 100th. We are sharing all kinds of things that we've maybe never talked about behind the scenes of the show, a little Q&A with Beth and I, and at the very end, we have a very special announcement for you. So make sure that you stay tuned till the end. Let's dive in. You're listening to the Girl, Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast, where we invite you to check your ego at the app, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to dive into all things real estate marketing, social media, friendship, hardship, love, money mindset, and all the things that celebrate you as a badass boss babe.
We're here to encourage you, show up for you, give you a loving kick in the pants when you need it most, and be your soft place to land on the hardest of days. So pull up a seat at our table and get ready to be inspired and start living your best life by design.
Welcome to the Girl, Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast. We are so excited you're here.
Okay, girls, let's dive in.
Woot woot! Woo woo! We're 100 shows in. Can anyone believe it? Because I can't believe it.
No.
We've been doing this together.
We almost forgot again.
Yeah.
Just like we forgot when we had our big milestone download.
When we hit 10,000 downloads.
We totally missed it.
We always talk about this too, how it's like so easy to get in the everyday that you forget to celebrate.
Yeah, and we're exhibit A and B right here.
Yeah, so we preach that you should celebrate, but honestly, we're still learning.
We are still learning.
We are 100 shows in, and we could not be doing this without all of you.
Yeah.
So exciting.
We are so thankful, like just loving on this community. The doors that it's opened for us have been incredible. The people we've met and how we've grown into this community, like so authentically.
It is so incredible. And I mean, I'm just over here like, I still can't believe it. I'm in disbelief that we're 100 shows in. It doesn't even seem real.
I know.
When I was like doing the episodes, making our templates for social, and I was like, 93. I'm like, oh my God, we're almost to 100. Is this real life?
I didn't even pay attention to that until you said that. And when we were prepping for recording, I'm like, what?
It's so cool.
And we had to move things around because we literally missed it.
Yes.
In our planning.
Yeah, sure did. Move stuff around. I think we've done that before, right, Beth?
We do it all the time.
Yeah, we do it all the time. Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's so cool because when we started this podcast, like literally what we say in like the intro is we want to create a bigger table for anyone and everyone to pull up a seat and feel like they've been seen and heard. And it's working. Like everything that we've set out to accomplish with this podcast, it's doing what we want it to do.
It's really cool. And it's not to say there's not work behind that.
No, it's a ton of work.
It is. It is,
but
it's
like rewarding work.
So rewarding. And it's just been really cool to meet people. Like you said, the doors that it's opened, and to see others grow in their businesses and in their personal lives because of it. Like I'm going to start tearing up, which is, we're batch recording today, and this is the first show. I should probably not start tearing up the first show that we're doing.
Don't cry yet.
Yeah, so it's just really cool. So thank you to everyone who's stuck around with us. Even if you're new here and you're going back to old episodes, like thanks for being here. This means so much.
Yeah, it's incredible, and we're really thankful for this community.
We are. So Beth, we're gonna do like a little Q&A kind of thing,
a little back and
each
forth,
other some questions about the behind the scenes, because we do get questions a lot about the podcast. We get questions a lot from other realtors, from other small businesses, what that actually looks like. And I'm just gonna be real here. A lot of times when people find out what it takes to start a show, and especially produce at this level, I'm gonna give us a little pat on the back here because I think it's due. They realize, holy shit, like I pause, let me go
I don't have the bandwidth for this.
Yeah. And not to say there's a lot of, shows that are fantastic out there, but really honestly, like the doors that this has opened and how this has grown, and it's just really, really, really so cool. So cool. And it's fun to see other people starting podcasts. I love it. It's really fun.
I feel like we've been a catalyst for a handful of people that we know, like in the real estate world, that have said, oh my gosh, if you guys can do it, like we want to do it too. And people have started podcasts. And we're
do
like,
it.
Totally.
Do it.
There's
so cool.
so much information out there, and there's so many ways to like serve your audience.
Yes. And if you're thinking of starting a podcast, sidebar, it's a really fun platform to reach your community.
It is.
It's really cool.
And you can cuss like sailors if you choose to.
You can do whatever you want. All right, so we're going to chat all about what it's looked like, what surprised us, and some more fun stuff here. So I'm going to start with Beth. I want to know what surprised you most about the podcast.
For me, the biggest thing was I thought it was going to be really hard. Like, you're the one that approached me about it, and you said, I have a new idea. And how about a podcast? And I was like, no.
Wait, no, Beth, you were like, Jesus.
Well, I was like digging my heels in, which I do all the time. You and I always have this conversation. It always takes me like a hot second to come around.
Emotional authority, human design people. Totally makes sense. I'm sacral. Beth is emotional authority. Makes total sense.
Well, now that you know how I'm wired with my human design, now it makes sense. Before, it probably didn't make much sense to you. I really, truly thought it was going to be super hard. I thought it would be a humongous time commitment that I just simply didn't have. And a lot of it, like, I thought I probably wouldn't be good at it.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, so my personality, like, I like to be an expert in all things. So I'm like, I just don't know that I'm going to have enough to talk about every week for this to be something more than just like a one-hit wonder type thing. But like the thing that like surprised me really was that every time we look, the show in the real estate marketing category, we're always in the top 10, but many times, like more often than not, we're in the top 5.
It's like 98% of the time.
That shocks me because I was like, there's so much competition out there.
So much.
It's not like it's a competition, but there's a lot of people out there doing it. And there's a ton of people in the real estate space doing it. So for us to like all along be ranked so high, it's like, oh, we're doing it.
Yeah, that is an exciting number to like look at, isn't it? Or like an achievement to look at. It's really pretty cool. I like geek out a little more on the analytics on the back end. I'm like, whatever. But it is exciting to see that for sure. It's super cool.
I love that. Well, how about for you? What surprised you the most about starting a podcast?
Okay, honestly, that it literally just worked. I expected more bumps, more setbacks, more trial and error. And the reality is, like, the community we're reaching and desired to reach from the beginning is who we reached, and it has continued to grow. So I don't know. That's like, it seems there's my like imposter syndrome or like not good enough showing up. But like, I really honestly am it surprises me how well it has worked from the beginning. Had this idea, honestly, wasn't even like a big podcast listener in the beginning. I just really thought this would be a way to serve people and to grow. And it just started right away. So
Which is so
the biggest surprise. Yeah.
But I always feel like in life, the things that are supposed to work always do. Like whatever you believe in, your higher power or God or whatever. Like if it's meant to be, it just is a smooth path. If you're not like, this is like a struggle. It's like a struggle bus every time you turn around. Yeah. So that's why I feel like we're supposed to be doing this because there has not been one roadblock in our way.
No.
Everything's so easy. It's not that it's easy, but like
it's work. It's obviously work, there's a lot of work on the back end.
But it's not hard work. It's enjoyable work.
It feels good. It feels in alignment. Every time we sit down, it feels good.
Yeah.
And so that's how we know it's the right thing. Yep. And then in return, we reach our community and we hear from you. And it's just, honestly, it was the most surprising thing for me for sure of all of this.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like this it's so different than mine.
That's really totally wired differently.
Totally.
Yeah.
What's been the most fun part about it for you?
Like a time with you, obviously.
Well,
But really also just like hearing from our community, how it's impacting them and their businesses. And like we're seeing real life things happen. And they're not always at a really big scale like this. They're like smaller things. Sometimes they're big things. But it's happening and people's lives are literally changing with information or like, doors opening for them as well. And that for me is like really the best part. The excitement, the energy behind everything, the community and the people. It just is so cool. It's like an energy thing. It feels so good.
Well, and it's kind of so like you've been in this real estate space with me now.
Sure have.
You didn't have interaction with people about real estate.
You're right.
So now that puts you in like the forefront to actually have those conversations. So that's really cool.
I have learned so much too. And like also so many of our listeners are not in real estate. We have a lot of realtors listening.
Yeah.
And then so many not. So it's just really cool how how like large, I guess, or like audience is, the vastness of it. It's really broad. Yeah. And, you know, you would think a lot of times like, oh, that's not good, but it's working. It's so cool.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, what about you? What's been the most fun part for you?
Well, I love like batch recording days like we're doing today because you and Ryan and Kaya all show up.
Yeah.
Like Kaya brings all of her toys every single time. It's something different. The one time she brought the whole big bag of the plastic Easter eggs.
Oh, we still have that. Yep, the backpack with the eggs.
I found Easter eggs for like months afterwards. I'm like, oh, here's another Easter eggs. Then I would just set it aside. I'm like, next time I see Kaya, I got to give her eggs back. So like that's really like, it doesn't even have anything to do with the podcast, but like I love that.
How many egg hunts did she send Mark on?
I don't know because we were recording.
I'm pretty
Mark's
sure
like, I did several Easter egg hunt day all with Kaya all day, and I'm like, oh, that was fun. And like just all like the crazy stuff that's happened over the episodes, like when they were like, you know, jackhammering in the backyard, and I'm like, oh yeah, we can record here, and then I'm like, oh, Ryan's like, are you kidding me? We cannot like, record here.
Absolutely not. He was so annoyed with us.
I'm like, I thought we could just do it in another part of the house. He's like, yeah,
your house is vibrating, Beth. Like,
I know. I'm like, sorry. But just like telling funny stories and being a clown, like, and making you laugh, or like telling you stories you've never heard before.
Oh my God.
And so you're gonna like fall off your chair laughing in the middle of an episode, like that, like brings me a lot of joy.
I have literally almost peed my pants laughing so many times, like legitimately. It's so funny because we've been friends for so long, and we've been open books with each other for so long. You would think you knew and I have learned things. I'm sorry, going back to you like opening your Christmas presents from our Christmas show when you're in college.
Yeah,
like I
was
still
an adult.
to this day, like, dying laughing. So that has been super fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's all the extra things that are like outside of real estate for me that are fun.
Yeah,
like extra fun.
Love it. Okay, so what's been the hardest part for you, Beth?
One of the hardest parts for me is when you and I are having like a brainstorming session about who we're going to interview, and just making sure like the schedule all feels really cohesive, and like racking my brain on who to interview. Cause I'm like, I don't know. I probably sell myself short in that area.
You totally do. I'm just going to say you do, because sometimes I'll be like drawing a blank. I guess it goes back and forth maybe. But like, and I don't even know. And like different times a year too makes a difference. But you almost always have some great people.
Yeah, but it's coming a little easier now.
Okay.
But you're like, oh, we're going to get people to interview. And I'm like, what? Who am I going to interview? Like, I have to ask people to interview them. Like, that seems super scary at first and really overwhelming. And just like hoping that they would actually say yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was nerve-wracking initially, but now it's getting a little easier. 100 episodes in, it's getting easier. How about you?
Imposter syndrome and like showing up anyways is so hard. If anyone thinks like we show up every day, or when we do, not every day, but when we batch record, and we don't feel that to some extent doing certain episodes, like it's just not true. Like that part of it is so hard for me, and to just like take a deep breath and like, you can still do this, like remind myself what I preach, right, and still get through it anyways. And that is absolutely the hardest part, and it has been the hardest part from the beginning.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Because like if you didn't say it out loud, I don't think I would ever be able to tell.
So interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
You've become a pro at it. Of like just like working through that inner shit and just like showing up like a boss.
Taking deep breaths and just moving forward.
Like, I can do it. I can do it.
I'm going to throw up.
I remember how nervous you were the first episode.
Oh my gosh. We've also had some guests that have been like so nervous, and which is understandable. It's so understandable. But like really nervous, where like you see a different side of them if you know them well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I see you. I feel that, like, to like create that safe space. Yeah. Like this is legit. It is that hard at first. And then you realize, oh, it's actually okay. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't get nervous really anymore.
Okay.
I get a little bit nervous that like technology will have flub ups or something
when
like
Ryan's
that. But
not here.
Yeah, but like I'm like, that's Ryan's department. He can stress about that. So I don't really stress about that anymore.
I get stressed out when I can't get like my computer to work when I'm doing like a solo episode at home.
Yeah.
I'll like call him 85 times and he's like, are you kidding me right now? It's the same thing it was last time.
I'm going to kill you.
Yep.
Well, like, what threw you for a curveball throughout this process? The last 100 episodes, what was the curveball?
Oh my gosh, Beth, you're gonna laugh. Actually, you're gonna laugh, but also I say this all the time. How much I hate hearing my voice, my own voice. Like, I can't listen to my own shows, which I don't know if I should say that on here, but it is like, I can listen to our Together shows.
Yeah.
And interviews.
Yeah.
I can't listen to just my solos.
It's so funny.
I can't.
You told me that before, and I
cringe.
died laughing. I'm like, you sound great. Like, I don't know why you can't listen to it.
Oh gosh, I can't. Like, I want to cry, and like I would not still be recording if I were listening to my own shows. I should probably work on that in therapy. Probably. I'll give my therapist a call to add that to our list. But
well,
honestly,
and I've told you on the flip side of that, like the egomaniac in me, I love to listen to my own episodes. I'm like, I don't know if that means I'm like a freaking psycho and I need to talk to my therapist about that. That like, and you just were laughing when I told you that. I'm like, because I think it's fascinating where I'm like, because what's fascinating to me, and it's not necessarily listening to my own voice. What's fascinating to me is I will record an episode and then I will message Ryan and I'll be like, I feel like that one was shit. Like, I hope you can make some magic out of that because it felt like it was like a piece of crap episode. And then I listened to it and I'm like, I don't know how he made that sound good. Well, and even the one where I was really sick, I'm like, let me know if you need me to re-record this because I sound like a barking seal. And Ryan's like, no, it actually sounds okay. And I'm like, I don't even know how you made that happen.
I think Ryan's got some audio engineering skills that almost all of us don't have. Aside from that, though, what I am told is I sound better than I think. But I still can't listen. So
Mark thinks your voice on this podcast is way better than mine. He's like, Christy, you can't tell where she is, like what part of the country she's from. And he goes, and when I hear you, he's like, it's very clear you're from like Minnesota. And I'm like, shut up. I'm like, thank you, funny. Husband. That's so
until
nice
I say like about or something, and then it's like, oh, she's from the northern part. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing for me, Beth. What about so you?
Funny. I would say the thing that has thrown me for a curveball is that every single person that I've asked to interview, and I've asked some really big names. I've asked like the Taya DeCarlo, the Glenda Baker, the two bombshell babes that we are interviewing today.
Yep.
Every single person has said yes. And so I'm kind of like, who's going to be that person that tells me no?
I know. And
the bar's set really high now.
That is something that
people are like, you had Glenda Baker on your podcast? And I'm like, yeah, I literally just shot her a message and she emailed back and said, I would be honored to be on your podcast. Sure, I can make that day work. I will choose the 3:00 time slot. And I literally almost shit a brick.
So it is so freaking cool.
It's so cool.
I'm like living the motto of like, shoot for the moon, right? Just shoot for like what you actually want. And like, it literally everyone has been excited. And I think that's part of the energy of the show is we don't have guests on here that don't really want to be on. They all bring it.
Yeah.
It's incredible, the community, and people want to be a part of it, regardless of where you're at in your career or life. It's a really cool thing to be a part of. I love that so much.
It blows my mind, truly.
It blows my mind too. I'm totally waiting for that no too, and it's going to be like a surprise. It's going to be a surprise for us.
It'll be someone would be like, "What's you of all people said no to me?"
No,
I can't believe it. No, but you know what I mean. It's like wow, and everyone's just like, "I can't believe you had Glenda Baker on. I can't believe you had Taya DeCarlo on." I'm like, it's blowing my mind too.
It's great.
It's so cool.
So cool.
It's so cool that all these other, and it's been mainly, I would say the majority of the interviews I've had have been women. It's really cool how they are all. And it's why they're saying yes. It's because they all come from contribution too.
Yes.
And they're like, yeah, I would love to share with your community and, offer some insight.
I should have pulled those episodes for our notes here, but go check out those Taya and Glenda Baker. Those episodes were great.
Yeah.
And honestly, so many other ones. I mean, we could just list like the people that have said yes. It's just been incredible.
Yeah.
But really, it's building that, wanting to be a part of it. Like
so
wanting
cool.
to be a part of it, us putting it into the universe,
Yep.
and the universe being like, yep, boom, here you go.
So we would just have to, we should put it out there. This is episode number 100. Who is our unicorn that we said we wanted to interview one day?
I want to interview Jensen Sharrow.
Jensen Sharrow. Yeah, we've put that out there since episode what? Like one of the first like 2 or 3 episodes, we said that. We talked about it, especially on that
our money mindset
episode? One.
Yep.
Yeah. Like Jen Sincero one day. Jen, you're going to be listening to this podcast with your voice on it, and Christy and I are going to be interviewing you.
And you can't be our first no.
No. Oh my gosh.
It won't be.
We haven't asked her.
We should
ask her.
We should ask her.
We've talked about doing
I feel like I might
another money mindset one.
I know.
Gosh, that'd be really fun, right?
Whew.
All right. What's another one? How about shows that you're most proud of?
Oh my gosh. So speaking of that one, money mindset, 100% go back to this all the time. Episode 4, money mindset, truth bombs that will change your life. That one, because of the vulnerability, how it brought me back to childhood, like how far I've come, and like the impact that ties on to like your whole life, right? Ties into it. And also like how that ties us into like our friendship. We share a story in that episode. If you haven't checked it out, it's really it's my favorite one. So it's one I'm most proud of. Yeah. So go check it out, episode 4, because we share how that like literally was life-changing for me. So I just love it on so many levels, because life-changing, and then really go back to it. That is one that I will revisit. And then the tie-in to you with Jen Sincero. Oh my gosh, that's so funny how that just happened. We did not plan that, by the way. That was not planned. So that one is really big. I'm so proud of it. And also how it's helped the community. Like people have said, like, I had no idea I was stuck in that. Or like the shifts that happen because of it. It's just incredible.
And people that have said they didn't know that we were stuck in that.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, like I didn't really think that, I didn't even really know that was a thing. And then when I'm listening to the show, I'm like, oh, I totally have that too.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's coincidentally my favorite episode too.
Really?
Yeah. So when you and I were like, you know, doing our questions and we are like separately writing our things down, it's totally my favorite too. I like it because it's one with just you and I. I like it that you and I were like really raw and vulnerable and like shared about childhood stories, and it is a huge connected thread of you and I.
Huge.
Yeah.
And with so many other women.
Right.
It's so, you know,
until you tell that story, people, you don't know that it's that thing that connects you with other people too.
If you haven't listened to episode 4, check it out. If you have, or if you're going to listen to it, like, let us know. Do you want to hear more about that? Should we dive in? Because we've been sort of toying with the idea that we will.
Because it's an episode that has huge downloads. People bring it up all the time to us. And we haven't done like a part 2 of that, or like why. Re-bring it back. You're like, oh, rip off the Band-Aid.
Oh, so interesting that we both have the same one that we're the most proud of. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Never would have thought that, Beth.
I know, right? I love it. Well, so what are you looking forward to the most this year in 2023 with the podcast?
Oh, really expanding our reach, which we're working on growing the community that everyone's a part of. We have some fun things in store. We have this is the first time saying this, so like turn your volume up. We have some exclusive community only podcasts coming up. I just got goosebumps because I'm so excited about these to serve you at even a deeper level, and no, you don't have to pay for them. You just need to be part of this community, and they are going to go deeper into business and marketing and all the things. So that is something I'm really excited about because I think we can serve at even a bigger level.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about just having more awesome interviews because we don't have it planned out for the rest of the year. And when you and I have our little like get-togethers where we're little brainstorming sessions, a lot of it just organically happens, or we'll talk about it, and then then I get hustling on who I'm supposed to be like asking to interview, and I don't know later on in the year. So like I need to like think bigger, but I'm always excited about who it's going to be because it's always a really fun interview, and then I walk away learning something. So I hope everyone that's listening to this, they feel the same way when they're listening to those episodes. Meeting new people through this platform is super fun. So I'm excited to continue to do that. And just like pushing myself to be like uncomfortable, like getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then time hanging out together, you and I.
It's always so fun. It's always so fun. And we honestly, this year's It's looking and feeling so good. Last year, my word of the year was grounded. It was anything but. I share all about that many times on the podcast. This year, I already feel so much more grounded. Mm-hmm. And it's just like my words for the year are grounded in
It shows, too.
Yeah.
From my vantage point, it's showing.
So much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I mean, we're in 2023. I'm super excited already, and it's just going to continue, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
So thanks for celebrating our 100th podcast 100th episode with us. We're so excited to have you all here.
It's crazy.
It is so crazy. And what an awesome, awesome thing to be spending our time doing. So thank you, everyone who's been a part of this. And so much goodness is headed your way.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Okay, and to celebrate even more, we have a really fun giveaway that's going on this week. And so head to our social, check it out, or if you're subscribed to our email list, you will have the details there to celebrate all things 100th podcast episode. If you're not on either of those, go to thegirlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com and go ahead and subscribe to our email list there. You can do it right through the show notes of this episode, and you will be subscribed to our giveaway.
Yay!
It's going to be so much fun. So come celebrate with us.
You know we like giving gifts.
We do. We love it. So thank you, everyone, for being here this long. So much goodness is ahead for you. Yeah, it's great.
We love it.
Happy 100th.
Happy 100th to you, friend. So until next time, keep your face off a bus bench and keep being the badass boss babes that you are.
Okay, girls, are you feeling as inspired as we are? We're over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast.
If you want more, head over to girlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com for show notes and more episodes. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. They mean the world to us, and they're what keep us going.
Girl, thanks for being here.